Hello out there! It is once again time to dip into the massive crossover Worlds Collide and create another roboticized master. Up next is the third one introduced to us, Rose Woman. I thought I was going to have to dip into my last untouched Amy Rose figure to make this custom, but then when I saw the boot design, I found that she doesn't actually use the same legs. So this one was made from an Amy Rose who had previously given her legs to a Princess Sally, and the legs from a Tails figure. So, yay. I don't have to mess up my last Amy Rose just yet. It didn't require too many major mods, besides removing the bangs, sculpting on her mouthpiece, and slightly altering the shape of her eyes to make them look more severe, along with that little thing she has on top of her head. Instead of a beret, she just has this red thing on top of her head. I'm not sure what you would call it now. It's a hairband, not a beret. That is besides the point. The point is her head looks like this now. Yes. So here are the legs. They are sculpted over with epoxy sculpt to have that giant Mega Man boot look. Fortunately, Tails' feet already have the right shape to be the toe part of the foot, which is a good thing. Painted up with that bright yellow and bubblegum pink for the legs, along with some white. I don't know why Amy's shoes changed from red with a white stripe to just totally white. That's kind of funny. I wonder if that's Eggman's fashion sense there. Like, I always thought that her shoes were a bit too red. I think she'd look much better in white. Then Amy would make commentary about how it's after Labor Day and that's extremely tacky. Oh god, I am so weird. Out of all the characters so far, Rose Woman has required the least modification to the torso. It's simply a repaint of Amy's original dress. Yeah. I painted the whole thing red so it could have a more glossy metallic look than the default figure, but yeah, it's just a repaint. And with the fashion sense, Organic Amy has no sleeves, while Rose Woman has puffy shoulder sleeves. To replicate this look, simply swap the left and right arms around. Then, of course, build up the giant Popeye forearm bump that is, again, common among Mega Man characters, and give it a paint job with a nice glossy red on the forearm bits and a little bit of white up on the shoulders to look like the sleeves. The middle part of the arm can stay unpainted because, that's still flesh-toned. Thank goodness, because I hate painting arms because elbows always peel. I went through the Worlds Collide crossover about 3 or 4 times, and I could not find a single panel where Rose Woman was depicted with hands. She always had her Pico Pico hammers sticking out of her forearms. This leads me to believe that she's one of those robot masters. Like Crash Man, Spark Man, Drill Man, Needle Man, etc. The ones that don't actually have hands, only weapons coming out of their arms. I found that funny. So, I couldn't use the actual Pico Pico hammer accessory because it's far too large and far too heavy. The figure's arms would not be able to pose. So these are smaller Pico Pico hammers made out of the rim from a Lego wheel, a toothpick, and of course sculpted over with epoxy sculpt. Nice little red and yellow paint job caps it off. And yeah, you got things. And I made the peg just thick enough to be snug in there without being too tight, so you actually can rotate the hammers around as if they were her wrist pegs. So, yeah, it's all well and good. At this point, let's just put them back onto the figure and see what it looks like completed. Here she is, Rose Woman. I don't know, I think this picture here might have the capability of being a creepypasta. Not sure. Something about her eyes and the way she's holding her arms. Of course, thanks to the new hammers I made, you can bend her elbows and they won't just flop down. And you can even lift up her arms at the shoulders so she's holding up the hammers in a ready to swing pose. Yeah. That's good foresight on me for thinking to make the hammers smaller and lighter. Plus, they kind of proportionally match her design from the comic, so there's that too. Alright, this is Toy Customizer Wake Angel 2001, and I am tongue-tied and flabbergasted.